How about it, YouTube? Today I'm going to be attempting to place these heads on this motor. Now, this is not a how-to video because I don't really know how, but I did YouTube it and watch some other fellas do it, so it seems relatively simple. The first thing that they all did was clean up the surface, and I don't know if you can see it from there, but there's a little surface rust. And I did get these things back from the machine shop, and they went through them. They replaced all my valves and did what they do. There's no cracks. And but anyways, I'm going to clean this thing up real good. Get all this flash rust is what happened. And they actually resurfaced this, and you're supposed to know how much they took off and all this crap, but honestly, I couldn't tell you. But I do know that all this needs to be super duper clean. So I'm going to hit it with this here, I don't know, Brillo pad real good, and I'm going to get all the surface rust off and make sure these things are spick and span before we throw them on the car there. I hear these FE heads and all this is pretty aggravating to put on, but also going to try to set the intake if I can get somebody to help me today, because that intake weighs about 70 pounds or something or other. Good way to throw the back out. Now I'm going to tell you what I did, and a lot of people's going to be like, you crazy, but it made me feel better. These water ports here, I guess that's what they're called, this thing had rust and everything all in it and goop in the water cavities. So I took them back there out there in the yard, and I put the pressure washer right in these water cavities or whatever they're called, and I just blasted them inside, and goop and black stuff come out of there like you ain't never seen. But in the process, it did fill my cylinders up with water, and but whatever. I felt better about it. I didn't want to leave that goop. I think what was happening, the radiator had been leaking for 100 years, and people just kept pouring stop leak over and over and over and over and over into that radiator, and it had settled in this motor like you had never seen, and it was just nasty. And I didn't want to put a brand new water pump, brand new radiator, and pump that junk through it, or try to flush it into my heads that have just come back from the shop. So that's how come I did it before I put the heads. But anyways, after I did that, I oiled this thing up with some water displacement on the 40th try. Then I took some regular gear oil and I just wiped down everything. And it didn't, there ain't no rust or anything, but I do feel better about getting the water cavities as clean as I could. I mean, I just stuck the pressure washer down in them holes and blasted her. I probably spent 20 minutes with the pressure washer in one hole, just getting her done. Anyways, I'm going to wipe off the excess oil from around these cylinder walls. I guess it burned out, but I've already got this surface here clean. I cleaned it really good the other day with the wire brush on the drill, so I feel pretty confident it's about as clean as it's gonna get. But I might hit it one more time just to make me happy. And I even brushed the top of the cylinder head. I don't know if it was the right thing to do, but it felt good because they was all crusty. But I'm gonna hit it again just to make sure that I didn't miss anything, but I think I did a pretty good job the first time. I'm gonna take me a little air and blow in these holes here where the threads are, in case there's anything in there, just to make me feel better too. And I'm going to do about the same thing I did on the heads. I'm going to soak my rag down here with some of this brake cleaner pretty good. I'm going to wipe off this surface and try to get all the oil off of this head surface that I can. Now, a fella really hadn't looked at these too close until I went to put them on, these here gaskets. But you can see one side's got these stripes on it, one side don't. One side I can see a little metal here, and one side I don't. But I do see a front printed on both sides. And I figured there was like a right and a left, or driver, passenger side, whatever. But nope, they're both identical. So I'm going to put one, and I've been studying. I didn't know if I need to put stripe side up or that gray side up. I don't know. I would say stripe side up, but both of these things is the same. So I got to put one stripe side up, and I'm going to flip the other one and put stripe side down, but the front will say front, even though they're a little different, top and bottom now. I could tell by right here, I don't know if you could, yeah, you probably can't see that right there too. But anyways, don't make no sense. I figured somebody probably packaged them wrong and give me the wrong stuff. Normally what happens to me. But I'm gonna toss her on just like that. These things ain't no joke. Come on, don't tear up nothing. There's that. I got these bolts with a little penetrating oil on them. Fellers on the internet said you need that for torquing purposes. So I'm just going to start them all in there. Just going to start giving them a little bit of, just a little oomph. I'm going to work myself from the middle out, like in a circle, I guess you could say. I ain't going to give them much. The internet says take your torque wrench. Internet, YouTube, I mean, what them other boys, whatever they do. And go to 50, then to spec, which I got to pull my old phone out and see what spec was. See, I basically just got them about finger tight. Now I'm going to jump to 40 pounds. So previously went to 40. Now I'm going to jump it up to 80. And I'm going to use that same pattern. I'm going to start in the middle and work my way out. That's a lot more turnage. Man, that's pretty tight. 80 might be good. Well, we got that side on there. I did torque everything down to 100 even. Spec said 85 and 90. It didn't feel that tight, so I put it to 100 even. The old fella on YouTube said, put the top bolts on 110 and the bottoms on 100. That didn't sound right neither, having them like that. Anyway, I just did them all across the board, a good 100. I'll throw this other side on quick, and then I'll get you back. We're going to have to build a device to set this intake on, because that thing is heavy. I think it weighs about 70 pounds or so, and I don't want to drop her halfway in there with all the goop and the stuff I'm going to apply to this thing. So anyways, see you in a bit. Let me get this side on, tightened up, build some bracketry. See you in a bit. Now I know there's probably easier ways to do everything I'm doing, but sometimes a feller just don't know. So we just do the best we can. Now right there where the push rods go, in them little holes, I made this, and I'm gonna just make sure there ain't nothing in there before I start putting too much of this top back on there, because that's the last opportunity I'm gonna have to see this. Now I know I probably ain't doing it like the pros do it. I'm just using a little sense that's in common. A lot of people don't have that, but I got a little bit of that kind of sense. And I know that when you see that coming onto the rag, you better keep cleaning. So we're gonna keep at it here. Get this thing cleaned up, get ready to set on. I'll see you in a minute. Well, I'm pretty confident everybody's gonna have something to say about what I'm about to do. But it just feels right. And I think it'll be better. Anyways, I am gonna put some gasket maker goop on both sides. And I'm gonna plaster it on there. I'm gonna go around. I know you should do it anyway around your water holes, but the intake holes, they say it don't matter as much. Well, I said I was going to. Well, somebody help me. My gasket maker wasn't 20 years old. Well, there's more than one way to skin a cat. Something like that should be suffice. This will fill in my opinion, which don't mean much, but it should fill in any of those little craters that was in this thing. So we're gonna plop this thing on there. Well, I know a fella went to town on the goop on this motor, but this is what we're gonna do with that cork gasket for them china walls. Let me get you in here. I'm gonna show you. I like the goop. Make me feel better. All right, if you can see, it might look a little bit overkill, and we did get big old fat 1/4 inch bead front and back of the black goop on those china walls. So we're gonna roll with that. And while you fellers wasn't looking, a guy went and made this real fast. Well, we ain't got one of them fancy motor lifts, so we got a board rigged up here like a lever. We got the assistant on the other end, not wanting to be filmed, but here we go. We're gonna try to pick it straight up and set it down nice and easy. All right. Yep. All right. All right. Go down a little bit. All right, stop right there for a second. I need to get, they say, you line it up. That's the only line-up position, so we're gonna see.
Do you have goop on the edges?
Yes, I got goop everywhere, baby.
Ready?
Yeah, ease her down.
Coming down. She's on there.
All right. Let me check. Man, it does make a difference.
What?
it up a little bit. Just a little bit of weight off of it. There it is. Lighten that down again. Alright, all the weight off of it.
Yep, look.
I'm glad I watched them old boys on the YouTube because the distributor lining up factor did make a difference. He said to use that as a point of reference to line it up, and there's also a little thing right here beside it, which only look 2 little points to line this thing up. But that distributor made a big difference on how it lined up. Now let's check to see if the bolts go in. Oh man, right in. That is great. Now I've been going around this thing. I ain't putting much to it, but I've been going kind of all the way around it, just giving them a little more, and you could tell my goop keeps coming out. But see, I ain't got, just a little bit. I was inching them down tighter and tighter. I read the directions on that RTV that I used to pint of. It said give it, that red said give it an hour, then torque the spick. So while we're killing time, I'm gonna throw these plugs in. Perfect. Keep the dust out the hole, you know. Gapped. Well, this is probably about the end of this video. It's getting late-ish. But I'm gonna go ahead and put these rocker arm assemblies back on, which I think are junk. You can't really adjust them. But I dropped my push rods in. Fairly simple deal. They just drop right in. Put this little flimsy oil guide thing in. Like, get in there. What's wrong with you? Anyways, yeah, I'm gonna bolt these rocker arm things in. The only thing I got to say about these, I got to make sure there's one bolt that's got a little different, and them boys on YouTube taught me this. I'm glad I watched them videos. But anyway, there's an oil passage, which is right here in that bolt hole. So I got to make sure the special bolt goes right there. But anywho, if you like the videos, share it, subscribe. Thanks for watching. And if you don't like the videos, thanks for watching anyways. Till next time, we'll catch you on the flip side.